Hello, everyone. It is officially Jover as of about 30 minutes ago. Joe Biden posted on Twitter.com an official letter from the president, and it's a whole new game today, folks. It's a whole new ball game. All right? He published a letter that I'm going to read in full. And it is dated for today. Joseph R. Biden Jr., my fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more details about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all of those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. Joe Biden. It is really Jover. I hope he wrote that and got to take a nap, you know? Or worst case scenario, like, one of his aides wrote it and was like, but Joe, you dropped out of the race 2 days ago. He didn't endorse Kamala. I don't think that is the case. He name-dropped one person in that letter, and that was Kamala Harris, to point out that, like, she's an extraordinary partner. So, like, not only did he name drop her in the initial statement, he also got on Twitter, like, literally 20 minutes ago, so, 10 minutes later, with this post. Got to bring it up. Don't you worry, folks. It's coming. A little bit disorganized this morning. As many of you may know, I was out quite late last night. Looking fine as hell. My fellow Democrats, I've decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. We are all coconut pilled today, brothers, sisters, siblings. Let's fucking go, okay? We are officially unburdened by all that has come before, all right? We are now free to imagine what can be unburdened of all that has come before. I'm worried misogyny will sink her chances. I think that this particular election cycle, she is very uniquely positioned to combat that misogyny by mobilizing women across the country to restore Roe, okay? Her official running mate, and this is a joke, is Restore Roe, the monster created by the GOP, okay? They have created a scenario where Kamala Harris is free to rise, okay? Like, this is the perfect storm for her to get reelected. I can't get behind the coconut meme, as I was called coconut too much as a kid. That's a very specific thing to call someone. I'm sorry. Guys, this is the single most energizing thing that could happen to the Democratic Party.
All K buttons now.
Penny Nt, thank you for gifting Mix Rossetti a sub. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support, folks. You guys are what make this show possible. We're here. Yep. We're at the top of the roller coaster, and we just started cresting. We're about to just go into the shit. Let's go, folks. Charlie, hello. Thank you for gifting us a membership over on YouTube. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Hello. We are not, in fact, cooked. This is literally the best thing that could have happened. Kamala Harris, they've got nothing, okay? Trump the other day tried to, like, attack Kamala Harris and called her Laughing Kamala. That's all they got, folks. That's all they got. They got that she has a boisterous laugh. There we go. Like, that's not even like an attack. It's not like Lazy Joe or Sleepy Joe or anything like that. They got nothing. Because guess what? The GOP, and I do want to prepare you all. The GOP is about to get extraordinarily racist. That's my prediction. Because that's all they have. Right? The reason why they're coming up with she laughs is because their initial knee-jerk reaction is to say something incredibly racist about her. And they know that that won't fly. But they're going to start dog whistling incredibly loudly. And I think that that is going to backfire hard. It's going to backfire hard. Because basically their entire plan right now is reliant on expanding their pool from white evangelicals to black and brown evangelicals. That's like their entire mobilizing effort right now. And if they pivot into racism against Kamala Harris, which is their natural inclination, they're fucked. They are fucked. Like, this is an election to mobilize middle-of-the-road voters, and they are not capable of doing that. Guys, remember when Obama ran for president? They literally, like, burned him in effigy and, like, took out, like, piñatas to, like, hang him from a noose and beat him. Like, it was extraordinarily racist. They're not going to be able to restrain themselves. Okay? Yeah, like, the Republican Party's entire strategy going into the final months of this election was entirely reliant on Joe Biden. Their entire strategy going forward has been shattered, and the places that they would look to for traditional support are not going to be enough to win them the election. It's just not. And, like, not only that, we are going into an open primary, it appears. I don't know exactly what the plans are going forward from this point, but guys, it's right, like anything is on the table. Bernie for president? Sure, why not? it's most likely going to be Kamala Harris just because of the money. And I'm going to guess that progressives are probably going to coalesce behind Kamala, largely to keep the gains that they have won by hewing close to Biden. It's going to be incredibly interesting. Oh yeah, Foxbet. Yeah, the entire narrative around Obama and birtherism that Trump championed. Trump pushed forward the idea that Obama was secretly Kenyan, that he was an agent for Africa and was lying about being an American. You know, like that was their go-to strategy. I think we're gonna see similar things happening here. Bad time for the GOP to split over having to pander to racist and black Baptist churches. Exactly. This puts also. I just want to throw this out there. It also puts attacking Trump for being incoherent, rambly, and clearly sundowning as well. It puts that back on the table. Because on the one hand, you have Kamala Harris, a seasoned, lawyer, who can then, just go after Trump on, the way he talks, the way he conveys points. This is good. This is a good thing.
Woohoo, a plain old K button.
Penny Auntie, thank you for gifting Plain Old Toast a sub. We are in an incredible time. Had to leave another party? No, I didn't take off all my makeup when I fell asleep last night, so I just touched up my existing makeup and threw on a different outfit that I had here. Yeah. AOC looking even sillier, saying no one had a plan. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that they don't have, a coherent plan at this time. The fact that Joe Biden didn't come out and make the announcement in front of a bunch of reporters and explain how this is all going to work, it indicates that they're still figuring out the plan. But I always thought that it was... that they could always figure out the plan like this. So, to me, that wasn't really an issue. I don't actually have my glasses here. I'm at my secondary streaming location today, folks. Sorry, some of the redeems just aren't on the table. But thank you, VoiceBox TV. Oh my god. Trust the plan.
Another K button. Today is a day for celebration.
Today is a day for celebration, folks. I mean, the possibilities right now are crazy. Again, it's probably going to wind up being Kamala just because literally no other candidates are prepped to run a campaign right now, and it takes a lot of effort to build a campaign from scratch. And also, she has access to the campaign war chest, which is, I don't know, probably $250 million at this point. So, yeah, it's probably going to be Kamala, but I think... honestly, the progressive wing of the party has probably solidified a lot of influence over Kamala Harris with their loyalty to Joe Biden. So, Kamala's the only one that can still potentially lose, though. I disagree. Everyone can potentially lose. We're in... anything is possible territory, but I think the chances of us winning just went from, 20 or 30% to we're back at 60, 65%, you know? Paladin, it happened! It happened, Paladin! I think the big donors made the final push. I have to be honest, I think with a war chest the size that Biden had already accumulated, the donors had influence, of course. But I think ultimately, his family saw the writing on the wall and advised him to drop out. I think finally, Hunter Biden came to him and was like, you need to drop out, Dad. I think that's what happened. Like Nancy Pelosi obviously orchestrated a lot of this, and as did Obama, but a lot of the reporting around this indicated that like his family, like Jill and Hunter, were like kind of the final bastion. And I think finally one of them was like, nope, this has gone too far. My brother said something in the family group chat that I think is prescient. 4 months is an eternity in the digital age. However much you think Trump has won, it can evaporate in a moment with charlatans like him. Yeah. Yeah. And also,
Millions of K buttons. K buttons for me. Millions of K buttons. K buttons for free. Look out.
Penny Auntie, thank you for gifting Molly Millions a sub. And also, thank you for constantly having little clever messages. I appreciate them. I do hope that if we beat Trump after this, that people remember Joe Biden fondly. This is uncommon self-sacrifice at the pinnacle of personal achievement for a politician. Yeah. Yeah. Especially this late in the game. Hey, Sister Rose. Why am I feeling weirdly hopeful right now? Because, guys, I've spoken with Democratic organizers, okay? I do organizing. I've talked with people on the ground, the people that, like, these campaigns rely on to turn out voters. And I can tell you that the enthusiasm and desire to campaign for Joe Biden was like at the planet's core. It was like so far below the floor. Those people will turn out for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has indicated she has a better positioning on Gaza. She has by all accounts like more left-leaning values than Joe. Like we're in a good time, and I think progressives have positioned themselves to be close to her inner circle here. Why am I feeling nothing but anxiety? Because change is scary, but I gotta be honest. The situation we were previously in, to me, was far scarier. So now we are in a new ball game, and it's very exciting.
We are all coconut pilled today.
But we had some questions. What are your thoughts that JD Vance has seen incredibly unpopular with rural working class voters? I think that JD Vance as a VP pick is like, because Kamala is now the presumptive nominee, I think the JD Vance pick is about to backfire absolutely horribly. Okay? JD Vance was the pick that you make when you are extraordinarily confident and want to double down on all of your most racist and like most awful tendencies. Okay? Like he's the guy you bring in to like justify or help you justify the largest mass deportation of black and brown people in American history. They made signs at the RNC about it, guys. And now like I would hazard a guess that Donald Trump is probably kicking himself really hard that he didn't pick like a Tim Scott. Now, what is the coconut pilled reference here? Let me just bring it up. Videos. And can we find it? Here we go.
Everything is.
So a lot of the Kamala memes actually originated as conservative attacks against her. So Kamala Harris was giving a speech. She talked about something her mother would used to say, and this is the origin right here of the Kamala Harris coconut memes.
Is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, "I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
That was posted by the GOP War Room and shared around by conservative, members of Congress. And leftists saw that and was like, actually, you know what? That's kind of profound and also, weirdly cringe in an endearing way. Okay. Additionally, we have the classic. Oh God, where did I put that? Here we go. Kamala Harris. Yeah, here we go.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by
This entire supercut was made by the GOP as an attack against Kamala Harris.
what has been. You know? What can be
Unburdened by what has been.
What
Can be unburdened by what has been.
What
Can be unburdened by what has been. Can be unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be
Unburdened by what has been. This is a conservative attack on her, guys.
What has been.
It makes her look good. I like it.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
Who we can be, unburdened by who we have been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right now.
What can be
They made this supercut and then
What
paid
can be, unburdened by what has been.
and paid to disseminate this.
What has been.
What could be,
This is what they got on her, guys.
what can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
That line's
What
gonna get
can
very
be,
repetitive. I think it's
unburdened
great.
By what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
what can be unburdened
By what has been.
Unburdened by what has been, believing in what
can be.
What can be.
I love when she mixes it up.
unburdened by what has
It's
been.
great.
what can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What could be
I think she should make it her
unburdened
campaign
by what
slogan.
had been.
What can be
I don't think she will, because it
Unburdened
would
by
be
what has
perceived
been.
as
What can
disrespectful to
be
Joe, but like,
Unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
but we're absolutely gonna use it,
Unburdened
okay?
by what has been. What can be, what should be, unburdened by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. See what can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
unburdened by what has
That's right, folks. We're doing hashtag Wukbub. Okay, that's what we're doing. What can be unburdened by what has been. Wukbub.
Been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be unburdened by what has been.
what can be unburdened by what has
Hashtag what
What
can be
can
is unironically a beast hashtag,
Unburdened
right?
by what has been. What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be
Unburdened by what has been.
Who we can be, unburdened by who we have been.
Not
What
Hikiko Corgi. I'm not in the K Hive.
by what has been.
None of us are in the K Hive. Okay, I need to make this clear. Not a single one of us is in the K Hive. Because we were not there. We were not there in last time around, okay? We're not in the K Hive, we're in the Neo K Hive, okay? The Neo K Hive with critical support of Kamala Harris. We are not ride or die, but we are critical supporters of Kamala Harris in the Neo K Hive. Okay? I will say the K Hive is insane. Like, they are actually insane. But, like, the Neo K Hive, that's where we are at, alright? We're in the coconut tree. Busy, busy bees. All right?
Where we can be, unburdened by where we have been, and unburdened by where we are right
Also,
now. What can be,
Cave Dweller Togor made
unburdened by what
amazing
has
little
been. What
emotes that I'm
can
going to
be,
add to
unburdened by what
the
has
server
been.
now.
What can be unburdened by what has been?
what could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be
unburdened
by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been?
Unburdened
What
by
can
what has
be?
been, believing in what can be. What can be unburdened by what has been. 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 What
And you
can
all
be
are what can be.
unburdened by
Buzz,
what
buzz,
has been. What can
motherfuckers.
be unburdened by what has been. What could be unburdened by what had been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been?
What can be, what should be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been?
What can be unburdened by what has been.
It's a
See
K
what
button.
can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been?
Unburdened by what has been and knowing what can
Be.
Have a sense of vision about what can be unburdened by what has been.
To see what can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be
Unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what
We are all unburdened today, brothers, sisters,
Unburdened by what had
siblings.
been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. Where we can be unburdened by where we have been.
What was possible unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be
Number
unburdened by
86
what
in the
has
K
been.
button.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be?
unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by
Yeah,
what
it's a
has
it's a
been.
4-minute long
Can
video,
be
guys.
Unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
That can be unburdened by what has been. There are those who are unable to see what can be, but there are many more who are able to see what can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be? Nope. We're not doing this. What can be unburdened by what has been. Oh god. There we go. Nailed it. Save to chat. Incoming buzz emotes. Amazing. Is Harris less sober than I am? No, she's just cringe and possibly our first autistic president. So, you know, like... Hello, everybody! The emotes. Hey, they're in there already. Buzz. Wait, what? It's a joke. There we go. We got Buzz, we got Pride Buzz, and we got K-Hive. All right? Amazing stuff. No one was excited about this election. I'm betting that's going to change now. It's going to change overnight. Because you're going to be able to see, like... Guys, you're going to see...
And now a null K button.
Penny Auntie, thank you for gifting Null Zell a sub. You guys are gonna see people noticing the contrast between how Joe was and how Kamala was, okay? Like, people started paying attention over, like, the last week or so to, like, how Kamala Harris is able to, like, string words together effectively. And, like, they were like, what? You can just do that as a presidential individual? That's crazy. And also, they're gonna notice the contrast between her and Trump. Also, guys, there's another debate coming up. There's another debate coming up, guys. She's a former prosecutor. He's a convicted felon. The narrative writes itself, guys. And she can actually string words together effectively. It's going to be a political, like, massacre in that debate. They're going to scream DEI at her. Sure, but you know what? That's probably gonna be a little bit, like, destroyed by the fact that they're going into an open primary. You know? Additional, like, that is maybe one of the few benefits of going into an open primary. It kind of at least gives her the appearance of, like, the mandate of the people, you know? Though, like, obviously, fuck the DNC. But, yeah, honestly, guys, can we make I'm With Her start trending? Can we make I'm With Her start trending? Please. Please, I need it because I'm a vindictive and spiteful streamer, okay? Hashtag I'm With Her. Hashtag what can be unburdened by what has been. There we go. Hashtag Neo K Hive. Hashtag I'm really happy today, okay? I'm real happy today. There we go. It's her turn. Yes, I'm with her. Again, like, this point of tension has dragged on for, I think, over a month now. People are absolutely feeling relief and, yeah, happiness by, like, the fact that we are now all hashtag unburdened by all that has come before. What about hashtag Biden? I don't care. Biden is done. Let him be done. I still think I fell out of a coconut tree, though. You look, you can fall out of the coconut tree. I fell out of the coconut tree. Okay? I'm just a silly little lady who fell out of a coconut tree. I don't, yeah, me, like, really, right now, I'm like the meme of Andy from Toy Story dropping Woody, okay, in order to play with Buzz Lightyear. Clearly the superior character. Biden's body isn't even cold yet. Forget him! He's dead to us! Metaphorically. He's still very much alive. I don't want to vote for you anymore. Leave him behind! How long before Trump wants Kamala's birth certificate? Well, that's the thing, right? Like, some people in chat have already brought up, like, how long until they call her, like, DEI Barbie. Guys, you can't do it. If she's the presidential candidate and you're trying to appeal to black and brown people, like, DEI as, like, a talking point is not a sustainable way, because to talk about her in a dog whistling racist way. Because the more you bring up, oh, she's the DEI candidate, she's the DEI candidate, she's the DEI candidate, the more it becomes apparent that you're just saying DEI instead of the N-word. Like, that's it. Like, that's the issue, you know? Also, Charlie, thank you for the $2 super chat. So shocked I fell out of the coconut tree. Indeed. Thank you. And also, Shadow, thank you very much for the $50 super chat. My God. Hillary seething, knowing Kamala is the good kind of cringe and won't have to pull out hot sauce to try and get the black vote. I love today. Yeah, and here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. Kamala Harris is cringe. She's cringe as hell. But, like, in a way that, I think appeals to a lot of white people. You know, like, can I say that? Like, here's just a gif of her, like, dancing, alright? Like, there's a lot of gifs of her dancing, but, like, she's free. She's
Hillary
cringe but
seething
free.
when Kamala is the good kind of cringe and won't have to pull out hot sauce to try and get the black vote.
Yeah,
I love today.
our first flash mob president, all right? Like, we're done. Like, this is Donald Trump's worst nightmare, okay? Like, guys.
And now we have a Prince K button.
Prince Seal! I was talking to chat the other day about how great your voice is. Also, Penny Auntie, thank you for gifting Prince Seal a sub. Guys, you have to understand, this is Donald Trump's worst nightmare. If he loses to a black woman, he might like commit Roblox. Unironically. We are so back, Eddie. We are so fucking back. Did you see Trump's Truth Social post about Biden dropping out? No. Guys, I have to be 100% honest with you. I was out at a latex party until like 4 o'clock in the morning last night, and I had some very, very strong alcohols at the after party of that event. And I'm hungover today, and I woke up and was, doing talking love stuff with my partner, and then I saw not Donald Trump, Joe Biden tweet out his letter, and I ran downstairs. Okay, I refreshed my makeup, ran downstairs. This is where I'm at. So I am relatively new. I have not seen all of the info on this. Truth Social. Let's take a look at what Donald Trump's saying on this. Oh my god, dude. He's so mad. He's so
One
mad.
more than the meaning of life, the universe and everything K buttons.
Penny Auntie, thank you for gifting Annie a sub. I appreciate it.
Kamala Harris is cringe in the same way that a school principal is.
Yeah.
It's endearing.
But like a good school principal, like there are cringe school principals who are bad at their job. I feel like she's a school principal who's kind of good at her job. Okay? So here's Donald Trump's statement. Crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve, and never was, folks. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. All those around him, including his doctor and the media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now look at what he's done to our country, folks, with millions of people coming across our border totally unchecked and unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, and record numbers of terrorists. We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he has done very quickly. Make America great again. Guys, he doesn't even mention Kamala Harris. They got nothing. He's got nothing outside of his knee-jerk reaction to, like, using the N-word. Okay, like, that's what he would want to say in this situation. He doesn't have anything. Otherwise, he would be attacking Kamala Harris. All right? Instead of attacking Kamala Harris, he's like going after Joe Biden. Joe's already gone, bud. All you're doing here is like kind of gloating, but like in an ineffectual way. Like, this doesn't further anything for Trump. Yeah, his actual response to her would be like he'd be kicked off his own social media platform, okay?
And now a bird-brained K-button.
Well, Penny NT, thank you for gifting a sub to Birdbrain Bug. The Geckomancer, here's the thing, though. I think that is actually an asset in this particular political race, especially for progressives. Progressives, throughout this entire crisis within the Democratic Party, have stayed loyal to Joe Biden, relatively, kind of sidelining themselves from the conversation. Largely in order to curry favor with Joe Biden, but also, to a slightly lesser degree, to curry favor with Kamala Harris, okay? By standing with Joe, they position themselves to be in Kamala Harris's inner circle. That might not work out. We'll see how it shakes out, of course. But, like, that's kind of the calculation that they made. And so, what I think is going to happen is they're going to have, like, Bernie Sanders, AOC, they're going to have a little bit more influence with Kamala Harris. And she has indicated in the past that she has more progressive stances on Gaza, for example. She has, sympathies with policies like Medicare for All. Of course, we saw her backtrack from that during the election, during the primary process against Joe. But it indicates that she is very malleable politically in a way that I think benefits us on the left. Now, do I think AOC torpedoed her own career, though, with that live? Absolutely not.
Celebrate K-buttons. Come on.
Penny NT, thank you for gifting Bisadu a sub. And thank you for supporting stream. I am a small streamer, guys, and I could not do this without your help. Thank you for all the folks donating. That is what allows me to continue doing this. I don't make much ad revenue off my videos, so thank you so much. Please hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the YouTube stream. Do all the little button things, okay? Who might be her VP? Honestly, the main name that I keep seeing come up again and again is Andy Bashir, who I think would be a really great progressive pick. Honestly, most of the names being floated would be really good progressive picks. We know from reporting that already Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer have turned down the position. Andy Bashir, guys. Here. I'll play a small clip of him speaking so you can kind of figure out who the hell this guy is. I need his Twitter account. There we go. Got it. Here we go. So this is Andy Bashir. He is the governor of Kentucky. He's the governor of Kentucky, guys. Like, he's able to win in these positions. Sean Fain would be an amazing choice. I don't think we're going to see that, though. I think Sean Fain right now is focused on the 2028 general strike. But I think if that is relatively successful, he could run for president. Here he is. My statement on President Joe Biden's decision. President Biden will be remembered as a consequential president, along with Vice President Harris. He led us through the aftermath of January 6th. Yada, 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 talking about President Biden came through on the Brent Spence Companion Bridge project, etc., etc. While his decision today could not have been easy, it is in the best interest of our country and our party. I want to thank him for his leadership, kindness, and for a successful presidency that got big, important things done. Now it is the time for our nation to come together. We need to dial down the anger, rancor, and noise. We have an opportunity to remember we are taught to treat our neighbors as ourselves and that we are all each other's neighbors. Let's go here. Yes, here he is.
The Roe v. Wade world doesn't exist anymore. In Kentucky right now, unless the life of the mother is at risk, there are 0 options. That means victims of rape and of incest are told in Kentucky that they have to carry the child of their rapist. That means the rapist has more rights in Kentucky right now than his victim. These are real stories. Whether it was my time as Attorney General prosecuting these cases or brave people like Hadley Duvall, who was with the Vice President just this morning on television, but coming forward to tell her story about how her stepfather started abusing her when she was.
But, like, you can see, like, he's positioning Kamala Harris, like,
5 years old. How when she was 12, she found out she was pregnant. And she is now facing that pain, telling this world about her trauma because she believes other 12-year-olds in Kentucky or Tennessee or states that have these types of laws deserve options, and they do.
I gotta be honest, I don't think it's gonna be Josh Shapiro. He needs more time to cook as governor in politics. But, like, this guy's out there, he's doing work, okay? Now, sure, he's not, like, positioned great in Kentucky. You know, he's got a hostile state legislature. But, like, he's out there actively campaigning on the issue. The issues that the legislature prevents him from fulfilling, right?
What a strange, unknown K button.
Penny Auntie, thank you for gifting Mr. Unfamiliar a sub. Also, one of the other candidates being bandied around is Roy Cooper, who is the governor of North Carolina. We got Roy Cooper speaking somewhere. There we go. And Roy Cooper, I think, I gotta be honest with you guys, just visually, like, the opponent is Mark Robinson. I don't think Roy Cooper can run for another term. That's the issue. I believe Roy Cooper is limited by, has, like, term limits. So, like, his administration is coming to an end, and he can't run again in North Carolina. So, and also, I'm just going to throw this out there. Visually, he's an old, dignified white man. All right?
Odd. This K button seems to have an exclamation point floating above it.
Penny Auntie, thank you for gifting NPC Porky a sub. You are being very, very kind today. Thank you so much. But yeah, he kind of looks like Reagan, like, and I'm going to be honest, guys, in terms of balancing the ticket, the vice president is very much a, shoring up and, like, reaching out to voters that might be disaffected by the presidential candidate. So in that respect, like, this kind of Roy Cooper, I think, is the smartest pick. He's on his way out. He would help shore up North Carolina. He's very beloved as a governor in NC, okay? And also, like, him being a white guy is pretty important, especially, like, being kind of like a straight white man who's older, more respectable, you know, whatever ephemeral quality that seems to be. That's really important for a Kamala Harris ticket, you know? Because Kamala Harris, a bit younger, she is black and a woman, and honestly, having a token white man is going to help her a lot. Having a token conservative-ass looking white dude who's actually not conservative would help her a lot. So I think this really helps to lock down areas where Kamala Harris would struggle. He looks like someone playing the president in a movie. Yeah, he looks straight out of Central Casting, frankly. So your prediction is Cooper? My prediction is, honestly, my prediction is Andy Bashir. But I think Cooper would be the best choice. I think Roy Cooper would be the best choice. But she struggles everywhere. I think that Kamala Harris will struggle an awful lot less when she's put front and center for this campaign. Kamala Harris can actually string words together. She has a unique charm to her, in that cringe sense. But also, she's able to speak in inspiring terms. Like, I have played that supercut of her saying, unburdened of what has come before. Imagine what can be unburdened of all that has come before. You guys, unironically, every single time I play that, even those of you who've heard it before, listen to the entire thing and you're like, this is weirdly inspiring. Like, you guys get inspired by her, even when it's like a weird little supercut that the GOP made to attack her. She is impervious to their attacks. Most of the people I have spoken with dislike her as much as Hillary. I genuinely don't think that she is anywhere near as disliked as Hillary. Hillary Clinton had name recognition built up over like 40 years associated with only bad things. Kamala Harris is just kind of like a relative unknown in that capacity. Yeah, and honestly, most of the libs who hate her will vote for her anyway at the end of the day. Like, I gotta be honest, I don't think libs that were going to vote for Joe Biden are not going to vote for Kamala Harris. No, like if that is the case, like I just don't see that. Logistically, in like the cold calculus of elections, I don't see that happening. I was going to vote third party. I'm voting for Harris now. Yeah, and honestly, Kamala Harris does way better with, like, younger progressives, frankly. My strong prediction is she will lose as president. I disagree. I think once she begins campaigning in earnest in, like, the next week, I think she's going to do very well. Party capture works both ways here. Yeah, like guys, again, I hate to keep bringing this up. I have... Wait, what is up with CNN? I mean, this looks fine. Biden exits the race, endorses Harris as the nominee. Yep. It's really hard to believe that CNN is not in the bag for Trump when Biden drops out and endorses Harris, and the headline is on Siad involves Trump. So, also, guys, like, I've talked with progressives on the ground. I've talked with other progressive, like, influencers. They don't want to organize for Biden. They don't want to do it. They'll do it for Kamala. You said before she's more progressive than Joe, but in what ways? In one way, I will say she did initially support Medicare for all in the primary against Joe Biden, years ago. But she did backtrack on that because she is susceptible to peer pressure. But the issue here is that if around her people are supportive of Medicare for all, and again, progressives, I think, have positioned themselves very carefully around her, I think that she has this inclination towards far more progressive policies. And also she has, and her aides have, very deliberately messaged in the media over the last several months that she is more progressive on Gaza, and I think that that is an incredibly huge issue, especially for young people, especially for, Muslim Americans, for Middle Eastern Americans, for progressives and leftists. Yeah, exactly, Lazy Paradox. She's movable on these issues. She caves towards, popular topics. And when you look at the polling for a lot of these policies, you see where the popularity lies, So I think that she's going to be better in a lot of ways. Is she going to be perfect? No. Yeah, Biden has, definitively said he would veto Medicare for all if it came across his desk. Kamala Harris, I don't think would. Because she's been supportive of Medicare for all as a policy. So, these are just a few issues, but I think, especially for our crowd that we are running in, her being willing to support an actual genuine ceasefire in Gaza would be huge. Yeah, she's the VP, but she's not in lockstep. And she's made that clear, which I find very interesting because that's hard to do as a VP. It's hard to distance yourself and remain in the good graces of your president, My issue is that being better than Biden is not at all good enough. Going from the literal worst option to the second worst option in terms of electability is a terrible strategy. I think that it really depends on the polling that you're looking at. In a lot of, I believe in the aggregate, and I haven't checked recently, but in the aggregate, Kamala Harris does better than, most of the other candidates that could possibly be put forward. And you might say, well, if people saw more of Gavin Newsom on the national stage, maybe his numbers will improve. I think if you saw Kamala Harris more on the national stage, her numbers would improve as well, I think that this is unambiguously an improvement from where we were yesterday. And I will take that. I will take any incremental improvement. And I gotta be honest, I don't know what's going to happen this week. And neither does anyone else. We have no idea what the poll numbers are going to look like. But I also feel like if you poll people tomorrow on Kamala Harris, her having the endorsement of Joe Biden and the Clintons, etc., establishment endorsements, I think those are going to actually skyrocket her poll numbers. Her being on the front page of every single newspaper is going to make her numbers go up a lot. Relatively, We'll see. This is huge. This will get more eyes on the situation. Exactly, Sweet Blasphemy. I think this is going to and again, I could be wrong. We'll see what the polling does over the next week or whatever. We'll see. Camel Spider, sure, I would rather vote for young Karl Marx, but he's not alive or on the ticket. Okay, but what if we just, did a little bit of necromancy as a treat? What can be unburdened by what has been?